Okay.
Well, yes.
So I know we advertised the class as a commission, or a compliance and commission, but I did, for anybody who was in the tech sessions that night, I had promised that I was going to get at least the PA side of the integration with DocuSign and Command complete. I haven't made the full announcement yet because I want to test it and play with it, but I'm done. Thanksgiving's next week, I'm done.
Yay!
So I'm going to show you what that looks like, then walk through a compliance part of the opportunity, and then onto the offers and commissions. So I'm using Barb. Thank you, Barb, for letting me use your account. So everybody here, I'm going to assume that everybody knows how to create their contact and move through all that data, and I'm just going to kind of show you the new integration to start off with. So I'm going to start from scratch though and just create an opportunity. Make sure I'm on Barb. Okay. I'm going to create one. And I'm going to use opportunity type is a buyer. My client is going to be Barb. We have 3 Mickey Mouses in here.
Yeah,
2 of us.
Mickey and I are like this.
Yeah, me and him too. We go way back. I'm just gonna put in some crappy stuff just because I want to show you something on this later. Active. Just to start, just to mention going forward, I can only see your documents in Command for compliance if your phase is at least active. It can't be in Cultivator Watch or any of that stuff. It has to be active for me to be able to see it. So if I come back to you during a compliance review and say, you know, I don't see your opportunity, and you're like, it's there, and I'm like, no, it's not. One of the first things I'm going to say back to you is check your phase, because your phase is what's going to matter. If you swear it's there, it's going to be because it's probably not inactive. I'm just going to change that to that. That's just fake stuff. Okay, so here's where it gets exciting. First, you want to go through here. Make sure you have data here, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 Main Street. It's Darby, not Florida, but hey. And then over here, anything else over here? Close date. Okay. There. So when you go to documents now, this is the new part. And you pick your checklist type. So always pick your checklist type before you start your transaction. You probably already know that. I'm going to pick a PA buyer. Oh man, it already came up because I used him. But, oh no, it didn't. No, it didn't. I'm sorry. And you're going to hit start a transaction. And all, did you see back here where it has all these DS's?
Mm-hmm.
That means that it's integrated with DocuSign.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you go into DocuSign, oopsie bar, oh, bar, there you go. When you come in, your documents are automatically going to be there
I
now.
love that.
You don't have to go in and pick add documents and choose which one you need, look for the folder, look for the library, look for the group, look for the anything. It is there, but wait, it gets even better.
But wait, there's more.
When you open it up, open, open. Look, your data's pre-filled.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? But like,
All right, we're done.
I
Good
love
question.
what, Bob?
I said, okay, we're all done.
No.
Laura, quick question.
What's that?
So we have 2 transaction coordinator teams. Which one, or do they both end up in the documents? No, Anna or Sue?
Oh,
Buyers.
you mean for that form, for the conveyancing form?
Mhm.
I think it's been updated with Anna's. If you need Sue's, you can still go back and pull it, or I can pull them both in automatically. What do you think is an option? Like a good idea? Larry?
Follow up to that actually.
What's that?
We're using Danica, so we have a completely separate conveyancing. Does she have a separate form that she fills out? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I've never filled out the form, so I don't know.
As her client, I would think that, I would ask you before you ask me.
Right, I just wasn't sure
So
if
I
there was something
haven't
we should be
seen-
filling out or not.
I haven't seen one from her,
Okay.
but I can find out for sure, but I wanted to.
Is that form still optional?
I mean, our deals have gone through without it, so I assume we don't need to.
Yeah, they're
so-
optional, and honestly, I mean, we probably, I guess I could remove it. I like them so that, especially when Command first started, if there was an issue with anything and I wanted to try to go to the conveyancing team first, that was the only way I would know who was doing your conveyancing, was through that agreement. So like, we would never, return your compliance for that document, at least we shouldn't be. So. I
Okay,
can
so
ask-
I guess the rephrase to that question was, is there a document that you would like to see for us to include?
Right.
Whether it's optional or not, is there something that, like, should we be putting something in there saying that she's our conveyancer, so you have that contact?
You could, but there's also a new thing that I'm learning about, it just was, actually it's not even released yet, we just found out we have a KWRI call on Mondays at noon, and I found out yesterday that, so there's something called Teams Administration, so it would affect you, Larry and Anita, where you can actually have up to 2 admins on your account. So you can give Danica access through that admin access as opposed to her logging in as one of you.
Okay.
Because even though we know that people are currently doing that, that is not the preferred method through KWRI.
Right.
So they created this alternative to have admins have their own little access. And if I saw that, I would know that she was the one doing it. But again, it hasn't been released to me yet. We just found out about it. I think it's supposed to be released by the end of this month. So I will research that more when it comes out and let you know. In the meantime, if you wanted to, if you didn't want to put a document, or if there's no documents put in there, you could make a note that just says Danica has this file. Like, I don't know if you go back and forth between conveyancers, but you can write a note in the comments.
Yeah, no, we stay pretty consistent there.
Okay.
That's okay. All right, cool.
So
One
thank
other,
you.
one other question. I'm sorry, you were done, right?
Yes.
Okay. One other question, and I might be jumping ahead, so if I am, feel free to put me off. 5 minutes before this class started, Nick asked me to look at something he was doing. I don't know if the syncing has just happened. He has some signed documents in DocuSign that he was trying to upload into the placeholders in Command, and they were going through DocuSign. He actually had to download them and upload them manually into the placeholder. So I don't know if that is a glitch.
You shouldn't have to do that unless.
It was a signed document from
Okay.
DocuSign, and he couldn't even get, when he went back to the placeholder,
Mhm.
he just couldn't get past there.
Okay.
So,
That might be an individual,
okay.
problem. I've never heard,
Okay.
of that really being an issue. So is he still here, do you know?
Yeah,
He's just not
he-
coming to class?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can talk to him after the fact, but I just want to show you too, like, I know I showed you already a sample with their information on it, but the more information you put in your contacts, the more information that'll be filled out on these forms that are pre-populated. But I just wanted to show you again how, like, this one has, like, the Keller Williams info is already in there, your name's in there, the buyer's name. So the more info you have in the front end, but you can't go back and create the room and then add that info. There might be a sync option, but bear with me, guys, it's all new, so. Actually, there may be a sync option, but right now, I've tested it a couple different ways, and I tried to go back into it after I created the room, and it won't update the info. So if I find that out, I'll send an email to Barb, and Barb can forward it up to you guys and let you know.
But they still go into details before they go to the?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, still do all your details back here, have as much information as you can
No,
filled out, and it'll populate into those forms.
I'm sorry, the way it had been, when we go to the transaction, before we even add documents, we go to details in DocuSign.
Yeah, DocuSign, and it will
Yeah.
add if you put it in.
Well, I know, what I'm
Afterwards.
saying is
Oh, you
Georgia
mean the
said-
details in DocuSign?
Yes.
I mean, if you have all the details in Command, you shouldn't have to. I mean, unless there's something that's missing that you think has to be added, then,
I think most people, I don't know about everybody, but when I was selling, I didn't add, I added information from command, obviously, but we went into DocuSign, I'm trying to think why we do this. This is Matt Curry's head in my brain right now. We would always start with details in DocuSign to make sure that it popped up. But if you're saying if it's in command, we can basically skip that
you
stuff.
can skip that part. Yeah, that's the whole idea between the integration, is to have it feed from command to DocuSign.
But, the question before, within DocuSign, if you do change the details, it will receipt to, and it'll come up on the document.
I believe it will. Yeah, I didn't wanna say that 100%, I am being filmed, and I haven't tested it myself, so I didn't wanna say 1000%, that it would, but I do know that there is, a sync option.
Well, I meant within the, I don't know if it does through command, but like she's saying, in the details within DocuSign, if you go, after you create the transaction, if you go back into the details,
Oh, and details
and add
in
it,
DocuSign.
it will come up on the.
Right.
With reloading the papers.
So the only thing, let's see, so see how these all say sync?
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that this sync transaction is for if any of this detail changes. So let's just say Main Street 123, let's just add a unit there and we can go. We'll just test our theory right here in class. We'll just add unit 3, save, and now we're gonna do sync transaction. Okay, how's that not showing up over here that it was synced? So it says it was, so let's go over here.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is,
Yeah.
unit 3.
Cool.
So that would be how you could update the details. So yeah, Barb, I don't think there's any need to go
Okay.
into details in
Excellent.
DocuSign anymore. The whole idea was a lot of agents when this first came out,
That's awesome.
especially people that were using dot loop and were really, user-friendly, had their templates, had their whatever. Keller Williams really heard people and said, what can we do to make this easier? So they decided to do this integration. I think it's awesome. Gotta get the rest of the states done, but I did finish PA, so I'm happy with that.
That's
For now,
awesome.
so you do. So if you have any questions as you're trying that, let me know, and I'll try to help you through it. So that's our latest and greatest update. Do you have any questions so far about any of that? Okay. So then we're gonna go to the documents. Of course, none of that is filled out, but I'm going to take some of the documents and just add them.
This is where Nick was having a hard time.
So did he have this
He
part
did have
here?
DocuSign up there, yep.
Okay. So I guess that's really tough. This is all new, so, no options. Take that back out. Why? The dang on mouse is so good one.
You should have an option for computer, right? On computer?
DocuSign. Okay, let's try this. Oh, so I have to pick one box. Okay. I don't know why. So here, it wouldn't work for him?
This is, what you're doing
It's
is
doing
exactly
the
what happened
same
to him.
exact thing, huh?
Yep. And he had DocuSign to attach the files from.
It was a scanned document?
No, it was in his
Now, we're trying to
DocuSign.
feed it from DocuSign, so right here, we should be able to go into DocuSign. Oh, before I forget, so the ones that have DS, then you see a line under it, so some of these do and some of these don't. If there's a line under it, that means you can click on it just to see what a sample looks like. So that shows you the document, so if you, it shouldn't say sample on anything that's far. Oh, I don't have a sample of that one there. So the sample, that's gonna take a little bit of time. I want to get the integration done first, but anytime you see one underlined, it should be a sample one, and this is crazy, because I've not seen this part. And I'm really sorry, I don't have an answer. I'm just gonna have to look into why that wouldn't happen, so he must have created one since I did the integration.
Yeah, this is probably this morning, yes. I'm
Okay.
guessing.
And now it won't pull over.
So the workaround was he had to download it and add it manually.
Well, we don't want that because, you know, the whole idea is that you're supposed to have, you know, an easier time with this, not more work. I wonder if it can detect, was it a signed document?
Yeah.
All right, I'll get back to everybody on that, why that's not working right now, but, okay. So, obviously, under buyer, you're gonna have to have everything here uploaded that is required. If you see a little I there next to these, it gives you an explanation of, you know, what, just that it's required for like all the states. And a good example, let's go to the closed folder, because I get lots of questions, especially from newer agents, on the DA. I have people, it's really funny what people interpret as the idea of what that's supposed to be. And I get all kinds of stuff, but if you look at the I, it says the MCA will upload it. And when I did this whole integration update, I added a note here that says from MCA. So that you guys aren't asking, you know, what is that document, where do I get it, how do I put it in? But it's a note from me. These three things that are required, they have to all be approved before I will go and approve your, this, wait, that's not changing right there. You know, bear with me, I wanna create another, login. I want you guys to see what compliance looks on my end. Because I want to point something out. You know what, I hope it doesn't log you out far when I do this here. Now I want to toggle back and forth between the two. Okay, so you see how when you guys are in your documents, you can see all these up here, your tabs are detail, buyer profile, documents, offers, commissions, and notes and timeline. Lots of times I have people tell me, I left you a note. Why are you not seeing what I'm telling you? These notes right here and your buyer profile, I do not ever see that from my login. So here's what mine would look like. Let me see if I can find that particular one more. Now, it's unit 3. There we go. Unit 3. What does that say? It appears you don't have permission to view this room. That's interesting, because I can see anything. So when I go in, I can only see opportunity details, documents, offers and commission, and timeline. And the way that I like to communicate with you is through this comment section here. You want to put at, I'm going to say bar for this one. Please upload the missing required docs ASAP. And trust me, when you get these messages, please don't ever interpret any tone in these messages. Don't interpret any tone as being mean. If you see me write in all caps, I'm not yelling at you. I do a lot of file tracking, through Excel sheets and things, and I like upper caps. It's the MCA prior to me started that, and I actually like the way it looks rather than upper and lower. And all my stuff, it makes it look very consistent. And people have come back at me and said, "Why are you
You're yelling at me."
I'm not yelling at you, I promise. If you know me, I'm not a yeller, so I'm not yelling at you. And there's never a tone behind my text. I'm just like, I have a system. When I get your check, I have my pile to the left, and I'm just trying to get through them. So I go through, I write my comments, and I won't actually usually write a comment for a missing doc because I can flag you right here. And when I flag that, Barb now is going to get an email that's going to say, upload that, because that's a KWRI generated email that's automatic with command, and it'll let you know. So if you're missing every document, I'm probably going to annoy the what's out of you, because I'm going to go and I'm going to flag every single one. And I'm not trying to annoy you, but the more that happens, the more you're going to be like, I don't want all those emails, I'm going to put them in right away. But honestly, in all fairness to you guys and to Barb and the coaching program, the all of you are usually really good with getting this stuff done by the time it gets to me. You know, I'm not sure how the interaction happens between Barb and Marcia with you all. But by the time it gets to me, I never complain about the productivity people. You guys are really good.
Can I just add one little thing, since most people in here are productivity, for the love of God, please, learn the difference between the affiliate services disclosure
Yes,
and the affiliate services addendum.
that's the
The
truth.
addendum must be sent with the agreement of sale. It must be signed at the same time. So many times, because Marcia does do your compliance, but I frequently would go away just to see where things are, and the biggest error between those documents.
True, that's very true. And like she just said, in case you didn't know it, Marcia actually, so when I come in and I get your check, I log into the opportunity, and at this stage, I should, and because there's no documents loaded here, I can't do it, but there's usually a drop-down box right here, and it'll say, I can drop it down and I'll hit either approved, returned, I can change your status back to submitted or recent, whatever. So I will usually hit return if there's stuff missing, and that will show up red over here, and it'll say return, but if it's green, the approved. So when I come in, I'm looking for the consultation and the under contract, or the listing and the under contract, both to be approved already. That's because Marcia does it for the productivity programs. She does both day and night. And when I get it, I should only have to go into the closed folder. I should just look to see if there's a Alta, the commission check, and I always eyeball the conditional to see if there's a referral agreement, because a lot of times people don't know how to put the referrals into command, especially if it's internal. I mean, actually, it's probably equally. People don't know how to do it on the internal or the external. We can touch base on that in a minute when we get to the commissions tab. But referral agreements are a must, especially on, and Barb can correct me on internal, but for external, the referral agreement's a must. Like, we have to have a signed agreement. So I'm gonna always ask you for that signed agreement. And I should probably add it in here as optional. We have additional closing, but in rentals, it always asks for the W-9, because I'm always usually dealing with the co-broker, especially if you're the listing agent for the rental, because you're gonna pay the buyer's agent. But if there's a referral agreement and it's we have Joe Smith Realty in Philadelphia, he's a very small real estate brokerage, chances are we don't have him in our system already. If it's a Berkshire Hathaway that's like, in Devon Wayne or in, even Philadelphia, like the local area media, chances are we've dealt with them many times, so we already have their information. But not having the referral agreement or the W-9 is gonna cause two things to happen. You're not gonna get paid correctly, they're not gonna get paid, they're gonna call you complaining, you're gonna get mad at me. And I just had this with somebody who said, and I can't remember who it was, but they were like, well, you didn't send a referral. I'm like, there was nowhere in command that there was an indication that there was a referral. So now it's taken longer for it to get to the other side. It reflects poorly upon you and our brokerage, you know what I mean? It's, even though I'm the one doing the work, it ultimately reflects poorly upon the agent that they co-opt with, and nobody wants to do bad business co-oping. You wanna make sure that it's quick, and Pack Your Day and Megan Crazy, they work a lot with two different referral agencies, Home Light, and they're always like, you're gonna get that out like on time, right? Like quick, and I'm like, yep, absolutely, but they know that their stuff has to be in there and it's done very quickly. They get paid the same day the agent does, so there's no issue. So I just wanted you guys to see it from my side, so you can see what I see, and there's no confusion where you think I'm seeing something that I'm not. I really wish that we could upload these documents, and I will look into that. So from this point, does anybody have any questions about compliance? I hope that the integration helps you guys. I hope that there's no, and the integration, just to do a side note, I put any of the documents that were required. Conditional or optional, I did not, because I didn't want to cause confusion, especially for newer agents. But in time, if I hear people complaining that, oh, that document should be in there, that, like, I'll have to look and see if I can put the conveyancing
I
document
didn't
in
see
there.
it when you pulled it.
So I may not even put the conveyancing document in there, because we do have several options, but I can. I mean, it's something I guess we can mastermind about, with some of the leadership here, and figure out how to do that. But whatever's gonna make it easy for you guys, that's what we're trying to do. So, All right, so we'll move on from compliance to offers and commission. I think we're doing pretty good. So you're gonna add an offer. I'm only gonna do one offer, guys, but I do wanna talk to you about if there is multiple offers. And we'll just say the initial offer. Maybe we need a mouse pad over here. What is my issue with the mouse?
I have one with me if you want it.
What's that?
I brought one if you want one.
Oh, I can try it, it's any better. So we'll say that, put the offer in.
You can take those right
Thank you so much. That's so much better. That's his address, right? That's his address as the,
It's the property address, so that'll be
Oh,
one,
it's
two,
the
three,
property.
maybe. 123, not 122.
thank you. Oh my lord. And if you are in a listing, you have to select from the KWLS. If it's not in the KWLS, and if it's like something that's off market, you're gonna know that's why it's not coming up in the KWLS, but you're gonna have to go in and add it. Do you ever teach that in classes, so they know how to do it? But it's not usually with newer agents anyway that we see this type of thing happen. But if you ever get here in a listing situation and you can't find it in KWLS, just come see me or Lauren. It's not worth like talking about it with everybody. This doesn't happen that frequently, but sometimes it can be as simple as Barb, they don't have their list hub enabled. Because I pull a report every week and it tells us if somebody does not have a listing that's feeding into the syndication for Realtor and Zillow and all that stuff. Actually, they don't feed Zillow anymore, I don't think, do they? They do yeah, they do. But it could be that toggle is not on, and then I'll have to come back and you'll have to be shown how to do that toggle. Address is required. All right, whatever. Let's just take. I'm gonna take the unit out of there. Okay. So the seller, let's say the seller's name. I'm infatuated with Disney, sorry. The associate's name, we're gonna say is Matt Perry. Terms. So here, you would put in, I think we said it was 150, let's say they're gonna come with. Why is that not working? Oh, I think here's where we put that. So this is your, does everybody know how to do this at this point? When I come back and say to you, like, you didn't submit your commission stub, that's okay. It always has to start with the offer first. So Matt said we don't ever do like determination. This would be where a seller's assist would be, but I'm not gonna put that in there. We're gonna leave it at 0. And this, I'm not gonna fill out this form either, but this is where I said if you have multiple offers, this command creates a report for you with an analysis of the offers that you can compare them and talk about them with your sellers. You can email it to them to take it and present it to them, you know, in person. But it's really great when you're in multiple offer situations. I'm not a realtor, so maybe you guys can disagree with me, but I would think this is a really nice, organized fashion to be able to have your thoughts really clear, so that as the offers are coming in, you're like really thinking about them, you write all your notes, so that when you do that analysis at the end, you have a nice comparable report that you can share with them. So that's what that's for. And I know a lot of people don't utilize it, but Megan did a class on it a couple months ago, and some people just learned about it at that time, and they really like it, and they're using it now. So then when you accept the offer, you're gonna go in and hit manage commission. And what I get the most, besides people either not submitting the commission tab, is I get a lot of, if they did submit it, at the end, the price dropped, or they gave me, that we went above asking. You know, there's all kinds of scenarios that can change the sales price or your commission. and people want to know how to go in and change it. Don't worry about that, because when I get your Alta and your check when it closes, I update our Winmore system, which is the system that processes all the real estate transactions so that your 1099 can be created within that system and send you your income for taxes at the end of the year. So it'll never reflect any inaccurate information. Somewhere along the way, when I'm reconciling bank accounts and accounts along, I would find any kind of error that happens. So don't worry about that. But if it terminates, that's a whole other situation, so we can talk about that in a second. So let's say in this deal, we're gonna talk about internal referrals real fast. So we accepted Barb's offer. This agent commission is $4,500, but we're gonna say that there's a $900, I just said 20%, that's $900, right? Commission to another agent. So we're gonna change this, so we're gonna say Kathleen McGann is getting a 20% referral. So you have to change the unit for yours, because everything in the system is unit driven. So you have to change it to 0.8, but it will not automatically calculate that new commission amount until you hit calculate commission, and it'll calculate it. Sometimes people don't do that, and then when they go to submit it, they get the error over on the side that your commission is in excess, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, how do I fix that? So you do that, you go on in here, you save your change. Then when you do that, you come up, you'll see this add another agent. That won't be there if your unit is 1, because there's no reason for it. But now we're gonna add, and we're gonna do Kathleen McGann at 0.2, 900, that automatically came up because it was all new fields. Save the change, and now we have the 0.8 and the 0.2 equals 1. So that's how you would do an internal. And then you would just come over here and submit. Now, if you want to leave a note, you can leave it here. I don't see these notes, so Lauren, as my assistant, one of the things that she does is once you guys submit the commissions, we have to approve them and pull them into the Winmore system. So Lauren does that part for me, so I don't automatically see this note. I know there's certain people that I have to go look at that note field, Packhill Day, Atlanta, like there's just people that I know that I have to. But I don't prefer to look in that spot, so if you want to leave a note for yourself to remind you in the future that you took a concession for something, or you gave somebody, $195 for something, whatever the reason may be. But I prefer that you put the note in the closed folder here, add the comment, and do @Laura Fulmer. And then I always look at the notes before I close out a deal. So even if you accidentally put it in consultation or under contract, I'm still gonna see those notes, but I'm going to prefer it to be enclosed so that I know that it's related to the closed transaction. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I also want to show you, because I didn't submit that right now. I want to go and I want to show you how to do an outside broker, or an outside referral. So when you do all of that, that is already in there. So Barb's paying an inside and she's paying an outside. She really needed a lot of help on this one. Huh?
Mickey is tough.
So, yeah, we're gonna say outside referral. You can just do the, I don't know if you have to, it's ostracized, the referral percentage has to be in there.
If you put it at an amount, we'll just,
Yep, there it goes. So, it's a 22%. We're just.
hey, you're paying somebody more than me.
Well,
What the heck?
Yeah, right? So here's where.
Go after her, Kat.
Here's where it would remind you that you needed that W-9 form from the co-op, because when you put in EIN, it's gonna ask for their tax ID. And I didn't come prepared to put a tax ID in there. Dang. But when I do that, if it's somebody,
Hey,
who has
Jess.
a, Larry, do you have your EIN number? I'm sorry. I should have brought this with me.
Yeah, I don't think I have it. Let me see if I can look it up.
Anyway, even if he doesn't have it, what's gonna happen is a list, would pop up for you to be able to like click on, and it should populate the rest of those fields. And then when you do that, it'll show in here,
Oh, yeah.
you have,
Yep.
hold on. Hopefully it recognizes you because you're internal, so I don't know. So let's see. Yeah,
84-429-6462.
okay. So maybe the list only comes up on my side, so we're gonna say this
I don't
is.
exist.
What's that?
So I don't exist.
No, you definitely exist. I'm just gonna do that. I know that's not your actual name. It's Larry Non Group, right?
Yeah, now it's group.
What's that?
It's group.
Yeah, I thought so.
Eli is group.
And then we would say, so Anita is with them, and we're gonna just say, that's the address, because I know that. So now, up here, the outside referral is there. All the other information is in there for the inside referral, and when you hit submit, please work. Missing information.
Contract date?
Yeah, contract date.
So this is something that you don't have to really remember, because we change it if it doesn't happen. But let's say you went under let's say you closed something today, and you're just now coming in to do your commission tab that should have been done when you went under contract. You all do know that, I didn't say that already. When you go under contract is when you should be doing this offers and commission tab, not when you're closing and I email you and say, hey, you didn't do it. It helps us for many reasons, not just for me to be able to move along with my workflow, but it helps us project our business for the upcoming months. So we know how to arrange our schedule, because I see how many closings are that day. Are we gonna make enough money to pay the bills? Because knock on wood, as of right now, we don't have enough money to pay the numbers bills yet. It helps with a couple different facets of business, so. But if you put it in today for a closing that actually went under contract, let's say 10/1, you can put in 10/1, it's gonna let you here, but then by the time we get it, it doesn't let us accept it because you can't be prior to the first day of the current month. Does that make sense? Like, unless you're actually putting it in, you actually really went under contract today, then you can say, today's the 16th, right? You can say, you know, it went under contract today. But if it went under contract 10/1, you can't do anything prior to 11/1. It won't stop you, like I said, so I don't expect you to remember it, but just thought it was a little helpful tidbit. It would help us to just go put 11/1 if you're doing something that is for a retro under contract. I don't want to, that doesn't confuse anybody, does it?
Mm-mm.
That's not my intention, okay. So I'm gonna say our contract date, save changes, now let's try submitting it. And then if you do not skip the donation, if you do not indicate a donation on this screen, it will automatically put in $10. So just keep that in mind if you ever want to know why your commission may be off like $10. This could be why. I'm going to save it, which means it's actually going to put it in automatically. Commissions submitted successfully. So then when I come over here, I'm going to come back up to here. I'm going to see commission requests. I want to go into. It was not showing. Three. That's really strange.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You have the bars. It did say submitted, right? It's submitted. So
I'll do
over
that.
here.
I have to do it
So we go in and we look at the commissions, and this is what Lauren does. We just usually hit approve. We don't look at anything really. That's why I said if you're gonna leave a note here, chances are it should be missed because Lauren does this part and I do the actual processing at the end. But I'm gonna hit approve. Then I want you to see back on your end, if you refresh here. Oh, really? Part of it did log you out. It's showing me now. Ah.
Do you remember or did you need to do it?
No. Sorry. I can find a picture in my head, but not any letter.
Well, I love these guys, but I wasn't about to shell it out.
And is it helpful for you to see both sides? Like
Yes.
what I see, what
Yes.
you see, so that you can understand when I say something back to you? Thank you. Sure.
You can run two different ones if you open another tab. Just log in.
That's what I did. I'm in two different tabs. I have to be in two different browsers, usually if I do it on my own computer. Okay, so that's approved. We get back to her. I forgot part of your leadership. I'm like, why is it there? Get back to Bob's opportunities. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. This one here. Nope, that wasn't it.
Well, okay.
Too many of them.
It's time for me to archive it. There you go. That's
This
right.
one?
Yep.
Nope, there's no commissions for that one.
Huh.
Geez, how many are there? Okay, here we go. So there's your offer and commission, view the commission. So let's say, if we get there, the deal died. So there's a whole termination process that Lauren's sending out, so you can know on the administrative side what to do, how to get the money back to your buyer. But when you hit request termination, it sends us a notification. We can come in and we can approve. Now if I hit refresh, it's probably gonna go back to her screen. Let's see, yeah, it did. So you get the gist. We can hit approve the termination. It'll give us the indicator to go into the system and terminate that deal so that we know it's not something that's coming up next month when we do our projections. It kind of all goes back into that circle of knowing the business and what's happening. So does that make sense? And when you do the termination there, you can stay in the same opportunity and you can add a new version. Does everybody know about versioning?
I do now.
So, so when you did your under contract for 123 Main Street from Donald Duck to Mickey Mouse, and that deal died through, so you can add a version, and this is gonna say, you can leave it under contract version 2, or you can make it a new, property, whatever you might wanna call it, but when you do that, add a version. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna leave it as it is. But I believe when that happens, when you go back into the original under contract, I thought you could change the name. Maybe you can't. I thought you could change the name. But when you create a new version, you can put like new offer or a new property, like whatever you wanna do. And then you're gonna stay in the original version, and you're gonna add a custom folder over here that's called termination 123 Main Street. Create the folder, and then in that folder, you're gonna want a copy of the return deposit money release and the termination document, and the agreement of sale you can leave in the original contract. but we check the signatures on all of those. Dominic has to approve every termination, because in case you don't know this, the one thing that can actually make Dominic lose his license, that's the most important thing in his world, is escrow money. So if anybody ever wants to get their money back and they get like kind of huffy that, you know, oh, we didn't have Dominic review it yet, you kind of get mad and upset, well, my buyers want it now. We do our best to get Dominic looking at these as quickly as possible, but we also use a time blocking system in our day-to-day work life here, and Lauren has time blocked Tuesdays and Thursdays for terminations. And that's when we try to cut those checks and get them out for your buyers to pick up, or you know, whoever's picking it up, their agent, whatever. So that would be a full-blown process from start to finish, and even with the termination, an inside referral and an outside referral. Is there any questions? Did I cover everything? I feel like a lot of you guys knew all this stuff already. That's a good thing. No?
Well, I have a
Heather?
question about commission.
No.
So if you put the commission in already, I've already submitted it to you, and then there's a seller's assist, can I edit it after I've submitted it?
Not if we accepted it.
Now what?
So you can, let me go back to whose side am I in? On the Barb's side. I think it's gonna say termination requested, there it is. So I can't resubmit at that time. I was gonna try to see what would happen. If we did not, there's a different, we can accept it and then we import it. So if you ever go in there and it's accepted, but it's not imported,
So
then yes, you can edit it and it'll notify us to make the change. But if it's imported, then you can't. So you can just leave the note in the comment section of the documents, you know what we're talking about? Like not the commission tab.
Not the commission tab, but back.
Right,
Yeah.
because like I said, it's two different people looking at those screens. Lauren sees one screen, I do the other. And I do my best to look at all the notes that, you know, I want to be accurate, but going through and looking at every single one in two different spots, you know, the notes there and the notes in documents is just a lot more work. So you can leave a note there and I'll pick it up there, Anita. But then also, just so you guys know, you might think to yourself, why are those functionalities like even here if we can't change it ourselves or whatever? Eventually, so as I said, Winmore is a standalone product that has been built for Keller Williams. They've used it since the beginning of time. They are sunsetting that program and it will all be live in Command. So even like now, if Barb goes to, I know, I think I wanted the commission. If you look at your commission and you see like what the royalty is in your company dollar, like to show a year-to-date number is not accurate because it's reliant upon transmittal from the prior month. So it'll only give you the data that was transmitted up through, at this point, it would be whatever was on your record as of 10/31. So if you capped on 11/10, it's not gonna show that you're capped in the system because it's only as of 10/31. But eventually, this whole process is going to be where everything is done through. All the real estate transactions will go through Command. I will no longer have an outside standalone product. And when that happens, all of that information will be live every single day. You'll be able to see where you stand with your royalty and your cap dollars.
That's amazing.
So it is something they really want to accomplish, but they're really trying to build out Command for the agent to be the best that it can be. And in case you didn't see Matt's announcement on behind the scenes earlier today, the app is being rolled out. I believe December 1st is the target for the app. It looks pretty cool. God bless you.
Thank you.
And hopefully that'll be, you know, that'll be life-changing too, as Lauren says, life-changing. So it'll be really great because you're gonna be able to do a lot of things from the app. They have not yet gotten the functionality in the app for actually creating opportunities, but eventually that's their goal from the app as well, so that you can do things on the go, and while they're fresh in your mind, you don't have to wait till you get back home and say, oh, I forgot that I could do that, this, you know, whatever. So they're really always trying to progress and make things improved, better, easier. So if you get frustrated, just remember, it's still being built. It's being built by agents for agents, so, you know. Does anybody have any questions? Did I miss anything you were really hoping to see? I mean, I think I covered it all.
There